Hey folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Wednesday, December 4th. The Steelers will have their first practice of week 14. Hard to believe we're that far into the NFL season. Week 14, second game against the Cleveland Browns coming up on Sunday. First practice of this week at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex this afternoon on the south side. I'll be there for Steelers Now. Aaron Becker will be there as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. There will be a sights and sounds video, maybe some locker room video, and there will be an episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive with myself and Zachary Smith a little bit later today around 6 p.m. Also, if you're listening somewhere else, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, whatever, leave us a review there. It's coming to my attention that on Apple Podcasts, we only have 2 reviews. We need more reviews. So tell people what you think of us, as long as it's like within the bounds of good taste. Let's do it. Today, I want to talk about Mike Tomlin, and I want to talk about Hard Knocks because Smitty and I had been discussing ever since it was announced that the Steelers were going to be on Hard Knocks, who might be the kind of breakout star of the show for the Steelers. You know, some guys that maybe people would not necessarily think would gather people's attention in a way that they usually do. And we mentioned some guys that I think have fun personalities that maybe aren't really household names, guys like DeMonte Casey and Nick Herbig, and we went down the list. Danny Smith is someone we mentioned. And after watching last night's debut episode, and by the way, if you haven't watched it, I do recommend that you watch it if you're a Steelers fan. There's a lot of Steelers on there, even though it's an entire AFC North episode. And I just think it's a really well-made documentary. But after watching one episode, like, it's clear that with there being 4 teams in it, the focus is going to be on the star players. Like, they're not going to get down to the weeds of the depth chart, I don't think. And so you probably know most of the people involved, or at least think you know most of the people involved. And the person that you know the least that is going to be involved the most is Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin has been the Steelers head coach for 18 years. That is forever. That is a very long time. And yet I still feel like many people do not understand Mike Tomlin, the person in this city. Was talking about this on Twitter the other day. He was asked in this press conference yesterday, will you watch Hard Knocks? Absolutely not. People are like, oh, he's just saying that. He loves the camera. I'm like, man, you guys do not know this person at all. Like, he does. I think in the time I've been covering the Steelers, Mike Tomlin has given one interview that he was not absolutely required to give by the league. Like that, like, he is not out there looking to burnish his stardom or reputation. He doesn't want to work in TV. He does everything he does for himself, his players, and his love of the game. He does not want any of this. And if he had his way, there would absolutely not be Hard Knocks featuring the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not now, not ever. He hates this. He absolutely despises it. And yet, I think he's going to be the star. And I think it's clear for a couple of reasons. One, because like Zac Taylor and Kevin Stefanski just do not have anywhere near that level of personality. John Harbaugh does, but like, if I'm a TV producer and I have the choice of putting Tomlin on the air or one of those guys, that's not much of a choice. Tomlin is going to be the more captivating speaker in both delivery and message every time. And I think this is a good thing. I think Tomlin should show people more of what he is really like inside the building on a day-to-day basis. You guys get Coach Tomlin, who is a character that Mike Tomlin has created to play on Tuesdays to battle narratives in the press. That's not who he really is. Like, he is a different person that we see out there every day at practice. This incredible motivator, incredible speaker, incredible human being, really, just in terms of the way he is able to develop one-on-one relationships with not only his entire all his roster, but his coaching staff, the security guards, the people around the building, the scouts, the alumni that come back to see him, us. Like, the one interview that he did that he didn't have to do was a podcast he did with Ryan Clark. And I think you saw in that some pieces of who Mike Tomlin really is and what it's really like to watch Mike Tomlin work on a day-to-day basis. come out. And I thought the reception to that was incredible. You know how many interviews he's done since then? And none. He just doesn't want it. But the league is making him, and I think they're going to make a star. I think that people are going to really understand. I hope that people really understand how good of a coach Mike Tomlin is after watching him work in this way, because I think it's been very misunderstood, misinterpreted about what he's like and who he is, because he's been so closed off about it. And I think this could end up being a really good thing for him, even though I'm sure he would tell you that it will not be. I also had a comment come on Twitter just before I started to record this that said, this is going to win Mike Tomlin Coach of the Year. And you know what? That's a heck of a, like, that's a great call, because I think it is. I think that the perception of who Mike Tomlin is around the NFL has always been very, like, if you talk to people in the league, when I go to like the Senior Bowl or the Combine and I introduce myself to people, I'm meeting them for the first time, the conversations are always like, oh, you cover the Steelers, man. What's it like to be with Mike Tomlin every day? Like, how does he do it? What's his secrets? Like, and I think you talk to an average Pittsburgh fan and they're like, well, he ain't won a playoff game and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's always been so different, and I think it's because people inside football have actually gotten to see how he works. Because I don't think if you actually watched how Mike Tomlin works and see the process that goes in to putting the football team on the field every day, that it's almost impossible to watch that happen and come to the conclusion, if things don't go right at the end of that process, well, this was all the coach's fault. Like, you just can't, because he's too good of a coach. So let me know what you guys thought of the episode. I think also my wife was asking me, like, well, what did you think of the show? And I said, I think the show is basically just people getting to see the sort of stuff that I get to see every day, which is really cool for people. Like, not that it wasn't interesting, I'm going to watch it, but like nothing broke any new ground for me when I watched this show. I didn't see anything I hadn't seen before. But I bet it was eye-opening for a lot of you. So I want you guys to tell me what you liked, or what surprised you, or what you thought was different about the show, about what you saw, what you learned about the people, or maybe what you're looking forward to about the next episode. And I'm gonna, and if you're gonna keep watching, I think I am for sure. So that's all I got for now. Like I said, sights and sounds, practice video, interviews, me and Smitty back here 6 p.m. afternoon drive. Don't miss it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy.